While the entire town of Fairmont Crest is holding its collective breath, praying for Eva Thomas to survive her catastrophic liver injury and the desperate search for a living donor, there is a much more insidious, quiet storm brewing in the background. It is so easy to get distracted by the sheer tragedy unfolding at Garland Memorial Hospital. We have Leslie Thomas screaming in the hospital corridors before breaking down in tears, Kat Richardson drowning in a suffocating sea of guilt over whatever truly happened in that dark stairwell, and Isaiah Hawthorne desperately praying for a medical miracle. It is a terrifying, chaotic time for everyone involved. But you know what they say about chaos, right? It is the absolute perfect smokescreen for those who operate in the shadows. And no one in this town operates in the shadows quite like Hayley Hamilton. While everyone is distracted by the life or death drama, the dynamic between Bill Hamilton and his current wife is shifting in a way that I find utterly fascinating and frankly, completely terrifying. Let us rewind for a moment to the night of the tornado, because the timeline of events is crucial to understanding the massive explosion that is about to rock these families. The power goes out at the country club. The massive crystal chandelier crashes down, nearly taking out Abby if it wasn't for Joey Armstrong's heroic tackle, and pure, unadulterated panic ensues. Amidst that terrifying darkness and confusion, Bill Hamilton and his ex-wife, Danny Dupree, find themselves trapped inside a stalled elevator. We all saw the sparks fly. We saw Danny thrown across the space into Bill's arms. And we all saw that passionate, undeniable kiss. But the moment the doors finally opened and the reality of their survival set in, the crushing weight of what they had just done crashed down on them. They made a solemn, desperate pact right then and there to take that secret to their graves. They walked out of that elevator and immediately started spinning a web of lies to protect their current relationships and their own reputations. Danny, drowning in immediate regret, ran straight into the arms of her husband, Andre Richardson, and claimed she was stuck in the elevator completely alone. Bill, on the other hand, fed a completely different story to anyone who asked, insisting that he rode out the devastating storm isolated in a stairwell. So this makes me wonder, did they honestly think they could get away with this? In a tight-knit, gossip-fueled town like Fairmont Crest, where secrets are the primary currency and everyone is intimately connected, keeping a lie of this magnitude hidden is practically impossible. The fatal flaw in their master plan isn't just the lie itself, it is the geographical impossibility of their stories within the confined space of the country club. And the unraveling of this massive secret is coming from the most unexpected source imaginable. I am talking about the surprising, yet incredibly telling conversation between Hayley and Naomi Hawthorne. Let us break down that specific interaction, because it is an absolute masterclass in subtle soap opera storytelling. Naomi and Hayley cross paths in the chaotic, debris-filled aftermath of the storm. Despite all the recent bad blood, the stern warnings Naomi has given her father, and the underlying scheming, there is a deep shared history there. We have to remember that they used to be genuine friends before Hayley dug her claws into Bill and blew up the Hamilton family. During this unexpected encounter, Naomi expresses a moment of sincere, genuine relief that Hayley made it out of the tornado unharmed. Hayley, who is so used to being on the defensive, is genuinely taken aback that Naomi still cares about her on a human level. In the midst of this surprisingly tender and vulnerable exchange, Naomi casually mentions how terrified she was for her mother, noting that Danny was trapped inside the country club elevator all by herself during the worst of the winds. But that is not all. You can practically see the gears turning in Hayley's devious mind the second those words leave Naomi's lips. Hayley, playing the part of the relieved and empathetic stepmother, casually replies that it is such a crazy coincidence because Bill also claimed he was completely alone, but he said he was taking cover in the stairwell. Boom. Right there. The puzzle pieces snap together in real time. Both Hayley and Naomi are incredibly sharp, observant women. They know the layout of the club. They know the complicated, unresolved history between Bill and Danny. I am absolutely convinced that in that exact moment, a silent realization passes between them. They both deduce that something incredibly shady is going on, and that Bill and Danny were almost certainly trapped together. The math simply does not add up any other way. Now, any normal wife would be furious. upon realizing this. Any normal wife would feel the sharp, agonizing sting of betrayal, the jealous rage of knowing her husband was locked in a dark box with his beautiful, successful ex-wife while she was trapped in a closet with Kyle Abbott. But Hayley Hamilton is not a normal wife. She is a cold, calculating predator. We already know her endgame. She is secretly poisoning Bill, slipping toxic serums into his system to slowly kill him and inherit his massive wealth. She has been hiding the poison near her chest, even rejecting Bill's physical advances at the club just to keep her deadly secret safe. She doesn't love him. She views him as a walking bank account with an expiration date. So when Hayley realizes Bill is lying about being with Danny, she doesn't feel heartbreak. She feels victorious. She just found the ultimate leverage to use against him. My theory is that Hayley is going to use this newly discovered information to play a twisted psychological game of cat and mouse with Bill. She isn't going to confront him with screaming anger or throw a glass of wine in his face. Oh no, that is far too amateur for someone of her caliber. She is going to tease him. She is going to make him sweat through his tailored suits. I can already picture the scene perfectly. Hayley pouring him a drink, looking at him with those wide, innocent eyes and casually bringing up the trauma of the tornado. She will tell him how scary it must have been to be all alone in that stairwell, and then she will drop the bait. She will playfully suggest that it would have been so much better, so much more comforting if he had been trapped with someone he knew. Maybe even Danny. She will put on the performance of a lifetime, assuring him with a sweet, understanding smile that she wouldn't even be jealous if they had run into each other and reminisced about the old days. I accept your past, Bill. I know you two share a history, she will say, wrapping him in a false, suffocating sense of security. This leads to a massive, burning question. Will Bill take the bait? Will he crack under the immense pressure of her psychological torture? Bill is a notoriously arrogant man, a lawyer who is used to controlling the narrative. But right now, he is physically and emotionally vulnerable. We cannot forget that Joey Armstrong recently noticed Bill suffering from severe hand tremors. The poison is already working its way through his nervous system. His defenses are rapidly deteriorating. I strongly suspect that Bill will be lured into a false confession by Hayley's understanding demeanor. He might finally admit that, yes, okay, he and Danny were actually trapped in the elevator together. But will he admit to the kiss? That is the million-dollar question. I think he will confess to the physical proximity but vehemently deny the intimacy, desperately hoping that offering a half-truth will satisfy Hayley's sudden, probing curiosity. But here is the chilling reality. Hayley doesn't care about the kiss. She doesn't care if they slept together on the elevator floor. She only cares about the guilt. Once she has him trapped in his own lie, she will weaponize his guilt to extract exactly what she wants. For weeks, there have been rumors circulating that Bill and Hayley might leave Fairmont Crest. Now that the tornado has literally destroyed their mansion and left them completely homeless, the timing is perfect. I believe this is exactly how Hayley orchestrates her final move. She will use Bill's betrayal and his lies as an excuse to demand a grand gesture of his devotion to make up for his dishonesty. She will play the victim, claiming she needs to get away from the toxic drama of the Duprees, and she will demand that they take that long-promised trip to the secluded beach house. This makes me incredibly anxious for Bill, because isolating him is the most dangerous thing Hayley could possibly do right now. Think about it logically. If they stay in Fairmont Crest, Bill is surrounded by people who might notice his declining health. Joey Armstrong is already highly suspicious of Hayley and has noticed Bill's tremors. Tomas Navarro is actively sniffing around the edges of Hayley's lies regarding the Lynette Wise situation. If Bill stays in town, a doctor at Garland Memorial might run a blood test and discover the toxins. But if Hayley successfully uses the elevator lie to guilt-trip Bill into fleeing to the remote beach house, she isolates him completely. No doctors, no suspicious casino owners, no protective family members, just Hayley, Bill, the crashing waves, and her deadly vials of poison. I genuinely fear that she is using this opportunity to accelerate his murder far away from anyone who could step in and save his life. While Haley is busy plotting a cold-blooded murder disguised as a romantic getaway, we absolutely cannot forget about the other half of this devastating secret. What about Danny? Danny is currently drowning in a suffocating, dark ocean of guilt. We all saw the beautiful, emotional moment before the storm when Andre gifted her that intricately woven pinky ring, a symbol of their unbreakable bond and their upcoming trip to Japan. Andre is a good, devoted man. During the tornado, he was paralyzed with fear, unable to move to help Martin, and all he could think about was praying for Danny's safety. When Danny ran out of that elevator and threw herself into his arms, sobbing, she was carrying the weight of a massive betrayal. Danny is not a sociopath like Haley. She has a deep conscience and a strong moral compass. I am convinced that this guilt is going to eat her alive from the inside out. Will she eventually break down and confess the truth to Andre to clear her soul? Or will she let the secret rot her marriage, constantly looking over her shoulder? And let us not forget Naomi's pivotal role in all of this. Naomi is fiercely protective of her mother's happiness. She has already gone out of her way to warn Bill to stay away from Danny, knowing full well that he still harbors deep, unresolved feelings for his ex-wife. Now that Naomi has pieced together the timeline discrepancy and realized that Bill and Danny blatantly lied about their whereabouts during a life-threatening disaster, she is not just going to let it go. Naomi is a Hawthorne. She is an investigator at heart. Will Naomi confront Danny directly? Imagine the sheer, palpable tension of a mother-daughter showdown, with Naomi demanding to know why Danny is lying to Andre and protecting Bill. If Naomi pushes hard enough, bringing up the conversation she had with Haley, it might be the exact catalyst Danny needs to finally crack under the pressure and reveal the shocking truth about the kiss. The dramatic irony here is absolutely delicious, though tragic. You have Andre and Bill already locking horns, their alpha male tension escalating to dangerous levels in the aftermath of the storm. Andre is fiercely protective of Danny and Isaiah, completely unaware that the man he is fighting with just had his hands all over his wife. If Andre finds out the truth, whether it comes from Danny's tearful confession, Naomi's protective interference, or even Haley using it as a public weapon to humiliate them, the fallout will be apocalyptic. It will destroy the Dupree family dynamic forever. But the darkest question of all is this: will Andre find out before it is too late for Bill? It is entirely possible that while Andre is busy plotting to destroy Bill's life over the kiss, Haley will successfully end Bill's life at the beach house. Ultimately, the survival of Ava Thomas might be the emotional anchor of the hospital right now, and we are all praying for her to get that liver transplant. But the true, terrifying psychological thriller is happening right under our noses between the Hamiltons and the Duprees. Haley's chilling ability to take a situation that would completely destroy a normal marriage, her husband kissing the love of his life, and twist it into a calculated weapon for financial gain and murder is what makes her one of the most compelling, terrifying villains on daytime television right now. I am sitting on the absolute edge of my seat, waiting to see if Bill realizes he is sleeping next to a black widow before the poison takes him completely, or if Danny's overwhelming guilt will detonate her happy ending with Andre. The physical storm may have passed over Fairmont Crest, but trust me, the real emotional and deadly destruction is only just beginning. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.